Okay, hello. We live? We live? Where we at? Give me a second here. Oh, this is webcam live. That's not what I want to do. Okay, that was I was wrong. I feel like I'm streaming somewhere. Go live is not what I wanted to do. I wanted to click stream. So hold on a minute. Let me make sure this is running. Okay, yeah, cool. We're up. We're on. We're live. Awesome. So sorry for the mix-up there. Let me turn this music down a little bit, and then let's take a think about what we're going to do today. So, as I might have just mentioned in the Discord channel, I'm going to look at getting that line trace. That was the first thing I want to do. So, picking up straight where we left off yesterday, I'm going to go into my first-person character over here. And we had the fire system set up. Let's have a scroll around somewhere. The firing sequence, and then this the cannon here that basically just prints a string. But we're going to introduce the line trace by channel now. So line trace by channel. I want to get the... So here's a new way of doing the line trace. I learned this last night. You're going to grab the camera, and then you're going to get the world location. So we know where the camera's at. And then we need to get the forward... Ooh, okay. Let me see if I can actually remember how to do this. I need to get the way the camera's facing, basically, because I'm going to do my line trace from the middle of the screen where the what do you call it? The crosshairs are. So, oh, that's the world location of my camera. That's going to go into the start value, and I might be able to get the forward vector. That's what I'm after. So I'm going to multiply the forward vector by a float. And this is going to be the length of the trace, so I'm going to put this at 10,000 for now. And then I want to add these two values together and then put that into my end. So let's give this a go. We're still going to print the string. Let's just see whether we can get those debug lines on the screen. So for duration, let's compile that. And away we go. Okay, so I'm seeing absolutely nothing. Oh, because I don't have a gun, so that would explain that. So yeah, there we go. You see this trace is coming straight out forwards from me now. Maybe a little bit high. I think it's actually the crosshair that's a little bit low, you know. I'm sure I've heard about this somewhere. I wonder where the crosshair is for the... Where are you? I feel like there's a widget or something cast to the viewport. That's my widget. I just don't understand why I can see the... I wonder if camera components can hold them. That's a possibility. Hey guys, welcome. More of you joining. That's awesome. I'm trying to basically get rid of the guy's crosshair, but I'm not sure where that actually happens. Not going to be in here. Is there a construction script? There it is. Oh no, that attaches my gun to my hand, so I want that one still. But there's no construction script saying why I have a hood. That could possibly be in first person hood. There we go. So this first person hood, we are gonna not do that. That's the only thing it's doing. Yeah, we don't want to do that. I'm going to get rid of that crosshair. So, whoops. Going the wrong way there. There we go. So let's go and take a look at picking up a gun again. The M1911. Cool. And I don't have that crosshair, so I sort of just hit in front of me. And it stops doing them because I've run out of ammo. That's great. So all of the weapon systems working awesome. We now actually have the pistol doing its shots. That AK is cool. I like that. So let's see what we can do here. So we've added the line trace. That's good news. We've done that properly. So let's go and tidy up a bit of code before we start today's work, and then we can see, you know, exactly what we just get done today. So firing the cannon, we're printing that string, but I don't need to do that anymore. So this damage value is going to need to be passed through to it's going to need to be passed through to the enemy that it hits. So what you would want to do is make a master class of type enemy and cast that hit result. Okay, yeah, we're gonna set that up. We're gonna set that up real quick. So let's make a very basic enemy. I'm gonna go back out to here and make a new. Wait, if I'm making enemies now, am I still making a gun system? No. Okay, so I'm not gonna make the enemies. What we have here, this is basically where you would then continue to cast off and do damage to your enemies, passing through this value after you've done all your modifications and whatever. So cool, we can get to that. What I want to make now that I've got line trace set up is a shotgun. So I'm going to go find weapons. I'm going to duplicate the AK-47 and we're going to rename this. Ooh, can I have a shotgun name in the chat please, and then I can rename this while I just have a quick think about. I don't know what shotguns to go for. So how are we going to do this? We're going to need to do the line trace but at a couple of different angles and simultaneously too. So where we actually do the, that's not the one I want, is it? No, that can go. This is the actual one. So where I do the line trace, I need to do multiple line traces. So I'm going to need a branch in here or here. So is shotgun or is multi-shot, because it's not just shotguns that can do multi-shot, right? So we'll call it is multi-shot and we'll drag that out and get that, and we'll put a branch off it. And if we do have a multi-shot weapon, then when we fire we will do multiple ones, and when we don't we'll do a single. So for the multiple, a sequence I think, or a loop. Let's do a loop. So it's going to start at 0 and we want it to do 5 times. So each multi-shot weapon is going to fire 5 shells at once, but then you could always promote that to a variable and edit that here. But for us we're going to leave that as 5. So in my for loop I'm going to want to do a line trace by channel again. Here's where the experimental stuff comes in. So the start is going to be the same and the end will be calculated the same. But I sort of want to break this forward vector up a bit and add a bit of variance to it, because there's no point doing a multi-shot if they all fire in the same line. Like a shotgun, the basis of a shotgun is that the shots spread. So, thinking about that, let's connect these up first of all and get another reference to the first person camera. Cool, cool. Tidy all this up a bit. And I'll put this in its own comment when I've finished this. So, doing multiple shots, what do we have here? We have the forward vector, but it would only be ahead by a little bit. So this would give us a point in space that's a bit further off. So maybe if we break this vector and put a shotgun range down to something like 300. Okay, I'm just going to test this before I go ahead and go down this train of thought. So we're going to do the debug. Cool. So what happens now is I should have a multi-shot weapon. So let's go and pick up any weapon. It should automatically be multi-shot. And okay, yeah, the distance of the thing is perfect. So what I'm going to do now, I multiplied it by this and then I added it in. So I'm going to need to make a vector. But I need to add some variation. I'm not entirely sure how to do this. Actually, okay, I think I'm going to break this vector. If I break this vector, so I have the perfect end location here, and then what I'm going to do is mix it up over here. So random float in range, and we're going to grab 3 of these and just totally mix up the bullet spread here. So we're going to make another private variable named bullet spread so that we have one nice place to edit this from. On the character, bullet spread. Okay, let's grab that. We're going to set that to about 5, I think. Ooh, no, that's not going to give me an accurate thing. What I need to do is take the value of this. This is puzzling. I want to basically just add some variation to this vector here. And what I'm going to need to do is modify these values. So, oh yeah, I want to do a float at a float. And that is going to be this guy -10 as well as this guy +10. Okay, so the 10 is what is now my bullet spread. So we'll compile that and set that a default value of 10. SK12. You'd be randomizing the spread after 300 from... You are correct. Although, actually, I disagree. I don't think so, actually. Because the end location of the trace would be randomized. So if I make this vector before I pass it into the end, then that would randomize and mix up. So basically what I have is, this is the perfect end location here. And this is going to shuffle up, but the start position stays the same. I'm going to go down this route. I'm pretty sure I've got this. We'll set that into the minimum. And we'll set that. They'll fire in a single shot for those first 300 units. Okay. I'll be honest, Andre, I haven't done this before. I'm sort of, again, playing along as we go. So I'm going to give this a go. I'm interested to see what this will do. Duplicate that again. And again. We'll put Y into here. And Z into this one. Don't need these anymore. I'm going to plug my bullet spread into all of this. And then I'm going to make a vector with X, Y, and Z. And let's just see what happens when we stick that in the end. Okay. So, whoops, I keep doing that. Let me pick up a weapon here. And awesome. So they sort of mix up from the camera. So I click there and I'm still in the lines. But yeah, so they stay, the start position is exactly the same. And the spread does start from the tip of the shotgun. You see here where they actually start. The only single position that is, if you think of a line, right? You only need 2 coordinates to make a line. You need the start of the line and the end of the line. And what I've done in here is take where the exact straight end of the line would be, which is here, and mix that up so that I get the different ends of the line. And those are the only 2 points involved in making a line. So by mixing up the end point, the line will be on a totally different trajectory, unless any of these come back the same. I hope I'm explaining that right. But I'm glad that works, because that sort of gives us shotguns, and we can tame the bullet spread a bit. 100, that might be why they're flying so far apart. Let's see what a bullet spread of 10 looks like. Okay, so that's not quite spread enough, so maybe something in the middle along the lines of 50. I can use an arrow component to define the tip of the shotgun. I could. This cast is coming from the center of the camera. But yeah, let's go ahead and do that. Let's stick a little thing, a little component. What do we have here? This sphere here is in the perfect location. I'm just going to get rid of these motion controllers and the VR gun, just to tidy this up a bit. But yeah, so this sphere here, what we're going to do is go back into the event graph and get the world location of the sphere, and still get the camera forward vector. Let's give that a try. Let's see how that works. Compiler error. What have I upset? Ooh. Oh, okay. That's what it is. Let's go and take a look at what this is doing now, where our current state is. So that comes out of my gun in what I consider to be a pretty straightforward motion. And we get random spatters of shotguns there. Awesome. So the camera forward vector is still what we want. That's great news. Look at that. So we have a shotgun, and if I increase the range of that shotgun, the spread also should increase. So let's change the range here. Yeah, let's tie that into another variable, weapon range. So we're going to grab that, plug that into here, and I'm going to plug weapon range into here as well. So let's set my weapon range, while we're testing the shotgun, to be something along the lines of 600, I suppose. Let's give this a play. Pick up a weapon, and yeah, I think a shotgun would almost certainly reach that wall. So let's expand that out a bit until we find a nice value. Let's double it again, 1200. Again, grab the weapon. Okay, so I can't quite reach those walls. It's getting quite a bit longer though. There needs to be a point at which your so this is where your weapon system can get really complicated. We can have damage fall off. So if it goes past 50% of the range or 60% of the range, the damage starts to decrease. I don't think I'm going to go down that avenue today. I think I'm definitely going to want to plan that one out before I start streaming that. But the shotgun I feel comfortable that we can make here. So weapon range, let's put this up to 2,500 and see what kind of range we get with that. And let's try the automatic. Jesus. Okay, so that's crazy right there. A 30 round automatic shotgun. Well, 30 times 5, so it's, why can't I do math? 90 plus 30 plus 150. No, I don't know. Ignore me. Okay, so we got a shotgun thing going there. The weapon range of 2,500 works for the shotgun. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna add a comment around this lot and name this multi-shot fire. Bring the loop inside here. These don't need to be so. Let's just tidy this up because I know I'm gonna want to play around with this later. So if I don't tidy it up now, then I never will. All that to scene, the loop body can sit there. That's nice, cool. And these are all under one bigger comment of fire anyway. And I actually want this one to be a different color. Sweet. So this is where the firing's taking place. So what else? So we got the shotgun if we pass in multi-shot, which means we are now going to need to go ahead and continue a bit of work over here on our not our first person character, but the weapons. Here we go. So inside the weapon master, actually let's rename that gun. You gave me the awesome SK12 HDG Productions. Thank you. So we have the SK12 _ weapon. I don't know what that looks like. I'm gonna have to Google that one later. But in weapon master, now that we're dealing with some more parameters that the player can handle, let's drag this over here, read these comments. How to create the bullet casing and bullet impact. Yes, well, bullet casing, I can talk you through it while I do this. Bullet casing is basically just spawning an actor with a bit of motion to it. If you want to spawn an actor, you could always have it as a particle effect. So you could make a particle effect that fires a burst whenever you fire the shot, and that would just look like a bullet casing. And the bullet impact, well, where you get the, bring the first person character up here, where you get the out hit result, you can break this hit result and you can get the impact location. So if you wanted to spawn a decal, you could spawn a decal at location. So you basically make yourself a decal material of a bullet impact, a bullet hole or something, and then your impact point will spawn that decal there, just like that. I hope that helps you out with that one. So first person HUD, that's not what I want to be doing right now. My weapon master, here it is. That's what I was going to do. So we've got new inputs over here. We have things like bullet spread, is multi-shot, and weapon range. So this now needs to also store those variables. So we're going to have a float, and we're going to name that one bullet spread. No worries, dude. Okay. If anyone in here has any experience streaming on YouTube as well, I'd be interested to know, can you play Spotify, and is it something that viewers would be interested in listening to? You know, just put some jams on in the background. I certainly couldn't sit here in silence and do a stream. I need to have something going. So weapon range. Cool. So let's clean this up. Oh, and one more. There was the is whatever you call it, is multi-shot. Compile that. And you're not a float, you're a boolean. So this is going to need to take some more inputs. A boolean of is multi-shot. Let's get rid of that. Another one of weapon range on the float. Another one of bullet spread. Awesome. So we're now going to need to grab this guy, set you. Whoa, that's not what I meant to do. Make a set here, a set here, and a set here. Hook these guys up. Yeah, I can play the music. Okay, so the music needs to be. Okay, so the music needs to be copyright free. So I had a look, and Twitch actually have a playlist of songs that you can listen to while streaming on there. But I didn't see such a thing for YouTube. So bullet spread was here, and weapon range was there. Okay. I'm actually going to swap these around because that little crossover is going to annoy me. Which means I also need to swap these pins around. Yeah. Okay. That looks a bit better. It's getting pretty busy in here though. So ammo was something that we used when we only spawned there. What do you call it? When we dropped the weapon. Current ammo set here from runtime spawn. And you pass in current ammo there. So now you're also going to need to pass in more stats for the weapon. So we're going to need to go into this and in here take in our new parameters. We have a boolean of is multi-shot, and we have a float of bullet spread, and we have another float of type weapon range, or name weapon range rather. Okay. What I would probably do at some point is to sort of break, because this list could go on for a long time. You know, this is I'm just passing variables to make things a bit easier, but this list could get really huge. So I'm wondering if I could break these out at some point into different custom events. So one that is like a weapon type, and then weapon stats, and then weapon materials or something. You know, if you have skins on your gun, you're going to need to drop the skin when you drop the gun. So it would probably be better to break this out at some point, but I'm not going to do that now. Let's set the bullet spread. For this one, we'll just look really lazy and make big messy spaghetti code, because spaghetti code is fun to read. Said nobody ever. Okay, weapon range, awesome. So you take that, this weapon range is passed in here, the is multi-shot is passed in here, and by default that one's to be false, and the bullet spread. Cool, so you're really overspilling your box now, aren't you? Let's move that comment out a bit. Yeah, that's getting pretty ludicrous in there. Okay, so that's a big crazy bit of code. Okay, let's have a think about this. So we got a bullet spread going back up, we got it coming into the first person character, setting all of these, and then we have our various functions that actually use these values. So Our line trace by channel will need to go out to a why are weapon specific variables in your character blueprint? Right, okay. Andre, yes, this is something that perplexed me last night. After I finished streaming, I went and watched it back and tried to figure out what I could have done better. And whilst I have the weapon master holding all of these variables, you're right, they're passed into the character and the character acts upon them. Something that really puzzled me is I should really just have an object reference that gets set. So when you so when you create a new object, so one of these pistols is in the world, that pistol will hold all of these, and then the object reference would have all of these variables in it, and I could simply do, instead of having my own bullet spread and having to set that, I would simply do object reference dot bullet spread, or object reference dot weapon range dot object reference dot weapon range, or object reference dot is multi-shot. So yeah, I should have done it that way, but I feel like I'm too far down this rabbit hole now. I don't know, maybe I'll dedicate the next stream to sort of ripping this up and doing a second iteration where we do it using the proper references. But for now, I'm gonna have to stick with this. I've dug my way in too deep here. Get the bullet spread and the multi-shot. Okay. So what we should have now is this SK12. We should be able to open this one up, and inside here we should have access to some new things like bullet spread, and we should have access to things like weapon range. Also, this pissed me off when I was thinking about this yesterday. I want this to just be a sequence to make it nice and easy to look at. Again, I suppose one thing that you could do would be to promote all of these to a I don't know why you would though. The only reason that you might promote these to a variable is so that when you're placing the weapon in the world, you can modify these clip counts and things. Because at the minute, anytime you place a weapon, they all have the exact same. So yeah, that makes sense. We're gonna have to make. No, I don't want to make new variables because I have that. I have them already. I just wanted to be able to pass in public variables, but I'm going to leave that out. I'm going to leave that kind of developer feature out for now. Okay. So let's just move all of these over and make a really big, ugly sequence. Just so I can more easily keep track of what is actually going on here. All of those execution pins down there are going to need to be removed. So 8 and 9. And I know I'm going to need one for set is multi-shot. Okay. So multi-shot on the SK12 would be true. The weapon range would be 2500. The bullet spread would be 5. Current ammo would be the max ammo in the clip. Weapon name would be SK12. And I suppose shotguns, these are typically higher than AKs, you know. So, I don't know, let's put this one from 30 to 50. It's not automatic, and we'll come with 5 clips. And it will have 5 shots. Cool. So when I drop an SK12 in now, we should be able to quite easily grab these different weapons. So I have an SK12, I have, whoa, it didn't do the multi-shot. It did do the multi-shot, but the weapon spread of 5 was not appropriate there. So bullet spread of 50 maybe. Let's give that a go. Grab the SK12. Yeah, the 50 is better. Awesome. So there's an SK12. I can go and put that down, pick up an M1911, and you don't seem to do the single line trace. Why is that? That is because you should still draw. That's pretty strange. I wonder why it's done that. Multi-shot should be false when I pick up the M111, but then again I didn't set it. So is multi-shot. We'll set that to false. The weapon range, the weapon range would be 0, so I need to set the weapon range for the M1911 to be something along the lines of, I don't know, let's make this 5,000 or 6,000 if that's what if the shotgun was 2,500, I think 6,000 is good for the pistol, and the bullet spread, well, it's not really going to matter, so because it won't even use that variable, so we can use that, leave that at 0, and we're going to need to do the same thing again in the AK-47. So the AK-47 now has some additional values to it too, so we have a weapon range for that. Let's set the big automatic rifles up to 10,000, I suppose. A bullet spread, again it's not going to matter, so I probably don't need to set it. And is multi-shot? No, because that would be crazy. So let's go and pick up these different weapons and see what kind of shots we get out of them. We have the SK-12 with its multi-shot, awesome. We have the M1911 with its single shot, that's great. And then I can go and grab the AK-47 and have full auto coming out of, it does seem to, I can't tell if those lines are, yeah, they're dead center to my camera, I'm pretty sure. I'm just trying to line myself up. That's, yeah, I'm pretty comfortable with that. 6,000 equals 60 meters, since one Unreal unit is a centimeter. So yeah, the range of 6,000, 60 meters. What was that on the pistol? Okay, a couple of questions coming in now. How would I go about changing the model of the weapon? So I'm really no good at 3D modeling, so I'm not gonna go through that whole process, but let's just see if I can find something in one of here that we could use. Let's take the, okay, we're gonna turn a chair. We're gonna yes, let's put in the model changing. So I don't actually have models of guns, so what I'm gonna do is in my AK-47 I'm gonna have this be a bush. That's great, we have a little bush there. Let's make that a little bit bigger. Cool. So we have a bush for some unknown reason. Let's set that to be its proper material. So in the world, the AK-47 is now a little bush, but what we're going to actually, I understand what you're trying to ask. You're trying to ask how we would set that to be on the player. So that's basically another variable that would need to be held within the weapon master, would be model. So in here, we're going to go ahead and make a new thing of type static mesh. It will be a object reference. Okay. So we're going to name this one gun mesh. So as with all of these other ones, we're going to need to go ahead, make an input, pass all that shit through because we don't have a sensible system, as Andre pointed out. We will have to pause this at some point and go ahead and convert this over to a reference based thing instead of passing every single parameter through. I should have seen that coming a lot sooner, really. Static mesh, but for the sake of this stream while we're going now, let's keep this going. So gun model. Okay, so gun mesh, we're going to set the gun mesh over here, down like that, and it's going to come from gun model. And up here, okay, so that's in the weapon master. And then what will need to happen on the first person character is this should take a new input, a type of static mesh, object reference again, and then that weapon mesh. So we can then simply, on this execution pen, instead of setting something, we're gonna call on our FP gun over here, and we're gonna, that's a skeletal mesh component. I want to change the mesh on it. but I think it's only it is a skeletal mesh, so I'm gonna delete that one. I think. No, I want to just use a static mesh. Let's see if it'll let me pass that in. It will not, because a static mesh is not a skeletal mesh. So over on our viewport, let's go ahead and add a new mesh here. So add a component, a static mesh, and this is going to be named gun. Not sure why it's a skeletal mesh. We'll put that there. We'll switch the sphere onto the end of gun, which is in totally different positions. So I'm going to copy the coordinates of this one and drop them onto that one. Okay, I don't know if that really worked. What changed? Huh. Can I get a quick skeletal mesh of a gun or a weapon or a bush, since we're going to use one of the bushes? Okay, so that would make your mesh that. So let's shrink this down a bit to be I don't know, 0.5, 0.5, 0.5. And we really want to move this out a bit so it's kind of in his hands somehow. So this is going to look absolutely horrendous, but it's going to prove a point basically that we can change the meshes on here. So we're going to get rid of the FP gun now and just use gun. Let's see if all that still compiles. Nope, it doesn't like that. Something's unhappy somewhere. Okay, yeah, it's trying to snap these two together. The target, I suppose, would now be gun. Let's do that. Are you happy with that? You are. Cool. Back to the event graph. And it compiles now. Okay, so the viewport. So we have this gun here. Pretty potatoed, but let's... It really doesn't like doing that. So I need to change the... Okay, this is getting a bit deep. Sorry about the knocking the mic there. It wants me to basically go and change the socket rotation. So I'm gonna delete that construction script and just have it not rely on... Yeah, okay. So we're gonna put no mesh in there. So the AK-47 weapon will now... Well, let's bring up weapon master again. We have a weapon mesh there, so when we press E, we need to set the new weapon to be gun mesh. Cool, and yeah, okay, so that's all hooked up in there. So weapon master's fine now. In the AK-47 weapon, we're going to need to set the gun mesh to be bush. Okay. Compile that. And, I don't know, for example's sake, on the M1911, let's set the weapon to be, or set the model rather, set gun mesh. So instead of a bush, we're going to use a, let's see what else looks funny, a rock. Cool. So over here on these weapons now, so the M1911, let's quickly change this static mesh to be a rock, so we know what we're going to pick up. Cool, let's play that and see what that looks like. So I'm going to go over here and pick up this rock, and it did absolutely nothing, because in the first person character over here, where we get the weapon mesh, we needed to set the, so we need to get a reference to this gun here and set the static mesh to be whichever weapon mesh comes in, and that'll come off that execution pin there. So we'll compile that again, and we'll pick up the rock, and I didn't get that. Why? Okay, bit of debugging here. Set the static mesh. Change the static mesh used by this instance. Gun. Strange. What is it that I've missed? If I were to put a bush in there as default, that makes a bush appear there, right? So let's, I don't know, let's put a breakpoint on here. See if we can figure out why this is not doing it. So I've got the bush at the minute. I want to pick up the rock. And the target is gun. And the new object reference is none. So the weapon mesh being passed in from the rock dude, it should be SM rock. How strange. Just trying to wonder if there's no default set for this, right? That's my first person character. There's my weapon master. No, this thing doesn't have a default value. It simply gets yeah, that just gets set from whatever else it was. So in the M1911 it should be set to the rock. How strange. Current value SM rock, static mesh rock. Okay. And in the AK-47 it's static mesh bush. And we set the static mesh here. So why am I not getting any values passed through? Let me resume that debugging. So that one I didn't expect to have anything, but it did take the bush away. So this one doesn't give me the bush. Why? You passed nothing in. Getting a bit stuck on this now. So where are you? Where are you? You are here. And what is calling set new weapon? Set new weapon is being called by weapon master here, and it should be passing in the gun mesh with the default value of nothing. But that's okay, because the M1911 should be passing in this value. So it's here, I think, where it's not being set. Let's play this, and it's going to breakpoint straight away. So that's just going to jump for me for miles. That's not what I wanted to do. Whoops. Come on, Unreal. Let's play still. Okay. What can I do with this? I can put a print string. So I'll put a breakpoint here as well, and I just want to plug that in. So let's see if we can debug this a bit more. So we're on a frame skip, and it got nothing because you had no current value. Okay, so this is where it's going wrong. It's not for some reason being set here. Promote it to a variable or something, and set the default of that to be rock. That could work. So we'll name that model. Okay, so we'll take the gun mesh now, and we'll pass that on through to the characters over there. We're gonna need to do the same over here in the AK-47. Make a new variable of type model, or static mesh rather. Okay, so change the type over here to be a static mesh. Object reference, and we'll pass that through. Sorry about the noise there. Two of my housemates decided to burst in and start giggling, clearly both very high. So we'll leave those guys to do that, and we'll continue with a bit of Unreal Engine over here. So static mesh being passed in. Okay, let's try this again. Let's get rid of those breakpoints. Let's resume, and let's go and pick up the rock and remove that breakpoint. Awesome. So now I have a rock as my weapon. Great. And I can go pick up nothing, but the rock stays there, and I can go pick up the bush and have the bush as my weapon. So that's how we can sort of drop these models and leave them behind. I really need to just go and make some basic gun models, I suppose, something that sort of resembles a weapon as opposed to... Huh, where did the bush go? That's strange. So I have the rock, but it's invisible. Why did it stop being passed through? that must be because when we set the weapon again, here, we don't actually pass the weapon back. So I need to go to gun, and I need to get static mesh. And then I need to pass that static mesh into gun model. So it wasn't setting the weapon once we dropped it back down. But let's go and let's try that again. We have the bush, we have nothing, we have the rock, we have nothing, we have the rock, we have nothing. Cool. We have the bush, we have the rock, we have the bush, we have the rock, we have the bush. Oh, strange. There we go. Okay. Cool, so we can swap the weapon models. Even though we're using guns for now, I mean rocks and bushes rather, I wish I was using guns. I did come across a video last night of a really incredibly detailed looking M1911, not an M1911, M4A1 within Unreal Engine. I'll see if I can find a link for that and I'll put it in the Discord. It looks absolutely incredible. I'd love to have something like that. So what have we got so far? What have we done today? We've made it so that we can pick up and drop weapon models. Since I'm really terrible and slow at 3D modeling, what I'm going to do is I'll make some cheap models on my own time, and then I'll put them into here and start the next stream with those models, so we don't have to look at bushes and rocks. But we take the weapon range into consideration now, something that I haven't actually tested. So for the time being, I'm going to clear these models here. And I'm going to go ahead and test these ranges. So the SK12 sort of flies out to the edge of the arena really. The M1911 goes quite a bit further, but still, you know, I would expect a bit more range out of it. And the AK-47 reaches even further still. Let's see if I can get that M1911 back in time. Nope, that's the shotgun. I'm going to make these draw persistent just for a second while I debug this and take a good look. There you go, some basic guns that look much better than bushes and rocks. Yes, basic guns I need. And I can find some placeholders on the internet. I'll be totally honest though, I'm a bit skeptical about going and downloading some copyright free stuff, especially during a stream. I don't know what the legalities around all of this kind of thing are. I try and avoid the legal stuff as much as possible. I just want to make video games. So quite often I will just go and grab assets from the internet, but I don't know if I can get in trouble from the owners doing that on stream or what's really going on, so I'm just going to avoid that. Rocks and bushes illustrate my point that I'm trying to make. So where was I going? I was going to go draw the duration as persistent down here. So the draw debug, we're going to make that persistent now, and over here we'll make it persistent too. Awesome. So let's jump back in and we'll do one shot of each weapon. So I have the SK12 going there, I have the M1911 going quite a bit further, and the AK-47 from roughly the same position quite a bit further. So we can eject and go and look at these line lengths now. So the shotgun just out of the arena there, the pistol quite a bit further up from the player, and the rifle there going even further. So I quite like the look of these distances. They seem to work. They seem to work quite well. So what I'm probably going to do is I'm going to leave this as a bit of a shorter stream. I'm probably going to leave this one here because I'm quite curious to see what my housemates are up to, and B, you know, I'm gonna need to tidy the system up. As Andre's pointed out and helped me figure out, that actually this weapon system, whilst it is working and doing what it should do, I'm doing it in a very inefficient way. Basically, you have this weapon master holding all of the things, and the different ones setting their own individual great things. That's great, but what I should be doing is just simply passing a SK12 reference in, a reference with its own individual variables that can be changed when you set them back down. So probably what I'll do is set aside a couple of hours for the next live stream, and we'll go ahead and just totally overhaul this system, get rid of all of these random colourful nodes, and what we'll do is we'll make it into a much more streamlined object reference system, and we'll try and explore that route. So thank you for tuning in today, guys. It's been pretty fun. I never really figured I could do a shotgun with the line traces, but it turns out you can. So you can have those different angles going off there, which I think works really, really well. Let me know what you think. Let me know what you think. Join the Discord. The link is down there in the description of the stream below. You can jump in there and say hello to everyone. Everyone's really friendly, really helpful. There's a great Unreal Engine community starting to develop within there, and I'd love for you to be a part of it. So, thanks again, guys, and I will see you on the next video, or maybe the next stream.